Hello, welcome to the video. When I was younger, I grew up with a TV show from the 1960s called Thunderbirds. While not overly popular in the US and being short-lived in the UK and other Commonwealth countries, Thunderbirds had and still has a decent following. The series focuses on a secret organisation called International Rescue who listens in on communications from around the world for dangerous situations people find themselves in. To save people from these situations, International Rescue uses a fleet of vehicles known as the Thunderbirds. International Rescue also has more equipment in what are known as the pod vehicles, with some being just as iconic as the 5 Thunderbirds machines, such as the Mole and Firefly. This video will go over all 5 Thunderbirds vehicles and their media depictions in the 1965 TV series and the 2015 TV series. There is a 2004 live-action movie, but as far as this video is concerned, it doesn't exist. The only good thing that came out of it was the rock and roll song by Busted. While a change up from my zoological, paleontological, and cryptozoological content, if you like Thunderbirds, do feel free to subscribe.
5.
Serving as the eyes and ears of International Rescue, Thunderbird 5 is a satellite that orbits around Earth, keeping an eye out for distress calls for International Rescue. Thunderbird 5 has the greatest change between both shows. The original TB5 is shown as nothing but a satellite just going around Earth receiving distress calls. Thunderbird 3 is shown being able to dock with Thunderbird 5 so Alan can relieve John of his services for a month. Beyond that, Thunderbird 5 doesn't really do much throughout the classic series. The design, apart from the docking area for TB3, is basically just a very large disc-shaped satellite. In 2015, however, Thunderbird 5 was completely revamped, having a vertically placed habitation ring that spins around to generate its own artificial gravity, and is shown being more independent than the original Thunderbird 5. The classic Thunderbird 5 is shown locked in orbit and is electronically cloaked from radar. 2015 is shown being able to orbit around the Earth at its own free will if needed and is given a more active role. Several 2015 episodes feature Thunderbird 5 as a plot point, such as EOS, Skyhook, and Impact, and the design changes reflect this. Thunderbird 3 is shown being able to dock with Thunderbird 5, but this is only shown about 2 times throughout 2015. The main way Thunderbird 5 has connection to Tracy Island in 2015's Thunderbirds Argo is via the space elevator. It's a compartment with a giant metal claw underneath it that can be lowered down through Earth's atmosphere to the underground hangar on Tracy Island. This admittedly brings up where does Thunderbird 5 store all that cable, given the official guide states that Thunderbird 5 is approximately 50,000 kilometers in orbit, or 33,554 miles. The space elevator is shown being able to detach from the cable, where it is stated they are detaching the space elevator from the nano tether, which probably means it's some form of nanotechnology. This might explain how they have that much cable for the space elevator, but still, where is the nanotech stuff stored? 2015's Thunderbird 5 has a change in power supply. In guidebooks, it is stated its classic counterpart is powered by atomic batteries, and the other Thunderbirds machines are also atomically powered. In 2015, however, Thunderbird 5 is solar powered, as shown by the solar panels on board the satellite. This is most likely due to differences between Jerry Anderson and 2015's creators in how they envision the 2060s. A lot of episodes in 2015 showcase clean energy sources, and one of the first episodes of the show has mentions about nuclear power being dangerous and people have moved on from it. The writers of the 2015 series probably also want International Rescue's equipment to showcase this as well. 2015 features a onboard AI for Thunderbird 5 known as EOS, old computer programming from John Tracy that evolved into a rogue AI, later taking over Thunderbird 5, believing John was trying to destroy EOS. Only after John reasoned with EOS did the AI decide to instead become friends with John and help International Rescue. This episode also shows Thunderbird 5 having a mechanical arm alongside the space elevator's claw. To my knowledge, this is the only episode that shows Thunderbird 5 having this mechanical arm, and the season finale of Season 1 is the only episode showing Thunderbird 5 to have a pod vehicle. Later seasons also show Thunderbird 5 having an exosuit for John to use to fly around in space and the upper atmosphere.
4.
Thunderbird 4 is a deep-sea submersible used for water-based rescue missions, often carried by Thunderbird 2 to the danger zone. Some people do bring up the question of why is it called Thunderbird 4 if it's only a pod vehicle. For me personally, it's worth noting that the classic TB5 is dependent on Thunderbird 3 for stuff like supplies and crew relief, and Thunderbird 2 is dependent on Thunderbird 1 to assess the danger zone before Thunderbird 2 takes off with the needed equipment, and Thunderbirds 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all dependent on Thunderbird 5 reporting rescue missions to begin with. So I guess it's not surprising that Thunderbird 4 needs to be dependent on Thunderbird 2 to reach the danger zone. Both versions of Thunderbird 4 are listed as having a maximum underwater speed of 160 knots, or over 296 kilometers. For comparison, Thunderbird 2 is capable of 2,000 miles per hour cruising speed and has a maximum speed of over 5,000 miles per hour. In metric, those numbers are over 3,218 and 8,046 kilometers per hour respectively. This means that at maximum speed, Thunderbird 2 can reach a danger zone 10,000 kilometers away in 3 hours, 6 minutes, and 25 seconds. By comparison, this same distance would take Thunderbird 4 33 hours, 44 minutes, and 58 seconds. Given international rescue is about getting to the danger zone fast and saving people from situations local authorities can't, it makes sense for Thunderbird 4 to use Thunderbird 2's speed to get there quicker. It's also worth noting that Thunderbird 4 can launch from Tracy Island on its own, so the option for the craft to make it to the rescue situation on its own is there. It's just that Thunderbird 2 cuts the ETA down to a fraction of its original time. This is shown in one episode of the original series where Thunderbird 2 is left needing repairs, so International Rescue found another way to transport Thunderbird 4 to the danger zone, with Thunderbird 4 originally starting off just independently launching from Tracy Island, before getting picked up by a US military warship. Both iterations of the submersible are stated in guidebooks to be capable of hovering across land, but to my knowledge this isn't shown in either 1965 or 2015. In the front of classic Thunderbird 4, the sub is shown having a wide array of tools, such as a missile tube, grasping arm, ram, and lights. In 2015, Thunderbird 4 has 2 mechanical arms that have different attachments, either a clamp, laser cutter, or any other attachment required for the rescue. Thunderbird 4 in 2015 also has deployable dry tubes that can store at least one person and float up to the surface upon deployment. Thunderbird 4 in the original series appears to have a scuba suit on board, while 2015 just has the suit Gordon is already wearing act as his diving gear. However, in Up From the Depths, we do see Thunderbird 4 carrying a deep sea exosuit that helps Gordon survive the mechanic's assault, despite Thunderbird 4's destruction. Thunderbird 3 is International Rescue's vehicle used for rescue missions in space and to help resupply and maintain Thunderbird 5. 1965's TB3 was featured in a very limited number of episodes due to the limited abilities of 1960s special effects. The ship is used for helping keep in contact with Thunderbird 5 and is capable of docking with the satellite in both shows. Thunderbird 3 is used often by International Rescue to allow John and Alan to take turns on monthly shifts aboard Thunderbird 5, that way John isn't spending all his time on board TB5. Since 1965, computer-generated imagery, or CGI, has taken over as the main form of visual effects in films and shows. 2015 uses a mixture of practical effects and CGI for Thunderbirds Are Go, which allows for a lot more action involving Thunderbird 3. Thunderbird 3 in the classic series has these long arms, which according to the FAB cross-sections are used in the propulsion system. In 2015, however, they are transformed into the grasping arms, which help for this iteration of the machine to dock with Thunderbird 5 and for when landing on the surface of other planets or moons. The nose cone also features a drill inside it, which the ship can use to drill into the ground to help stabilize itself. The cockpit also doesn't generate its own artificial gravity, unlike in 1965, and is fixed on rails that allows it to rotate inside the rocket. This can be seen when Alan uses Thunderbird 3 to stabilize the out-of-control spinning of Thunderbird 5's gravity ring in the episode EOS, where the outside is spinning fast, but the cockpit stays stationary. The grey section of the original Thunderbird 3 is used to house parts of the ship's reactor and acts as a radiator in the classic series. In 2015, however, this section is a cargo bay where the ship can house a single pod vehicle, as shown in several episodes. In the 2-part episode, Up From the Depths, Thunderbird 3 is shown having a modification known as Maximum Max, which changes out the cargo bay for a white midsection. This midsection houses a small vehicle called the docking bubble, and the grasping arms are now equipped with a mechanical arm, a buzzsaw, and a plasma cutter. As shown in the only other episode that features Maximum Max, and the episode Space Race, Thunderbird 3 is capable of firing magnetic cables, unlike its classic counterpart. Thunderbird 3 appears to be able to fire magnetic cables from both the base of the grasping arms and the end of the arms. The classic TB3 also features a white ring around the ship just in front of the arms. This is the airlock's outer hatch for when it docks with Thunderbird 5, given the ship's main purpose is being a link to Thunderbird 5 and has a secondary purpose as a rescue vehicle. 2015's Thunderbird 3 and 5 are different. In this universe, space plays a much larger role than in the classic series, leading to Thunderbird 3 having a lot more rescue missions. Thunderbirds 3 and 5 can dock, but this is not shown often throughout 2015, and this show's iteration of TB5 is shown being able to dock directly with Tracy Island using the space elevator. The white ring on TB3 as a result is missing, given the ships are more independent of each other than in their original iterations. The workhorse of international rescue and my favourite Thunderbird, Thunderbird 2 carries rescue equipment to the danger zone and doubles as a heavy lifting vehicle. Both 1965 and 2015's iterations are only a third as fast as Thunderbird 1, at only 5,000 miles per hour or 8,046 kilometers per hour. They are also only capable of reaching an altitude of 100,000 feet or approximately 30.5 kilometers. Thunderbird 2 is designed to carry heavy rescue equipment over long distances to the danger zone. Thunderbird 2 is also listed as having a maximum payload of 100 US tons or 90.7 metric tons. Throughout several episodes of both shows, the craft is also shown deploying various gadgets to lift and/or carry objects. One of my personal favourite moments showing this is from the episode Heavy Metal in 2015, where Thunderbird 2 is shown trying to keep itself in the sky while fighting against a machine manipulating gravity. Thunderbird 4 is shown dangling down from Thunderbird 2, trying to deactivate it before the machine drags a satellite into Earth's atmosphere. This is also one of the more unconventional uses of Thunderbird 4 shown in any Thunderbirds media. The original Thunderbird 2 is shown to be a darker colour and more rounded in design, compared to the lighter coloured, more squarish design of 2015's Thunderbird 2. 2015's Thunderbird 2 is also shown to have gone to space twice and been underwater twice as well, in what are some more unconventional uses for the craft. In the original Thunderbird 2, the vertical takeoff thrusters are in the landing legs, while 2015 has the vertical thrusters and landing struts as separate components. The pods on the original Thunderbird 2 also appear to be more spacious, given that version can fit at least 4 elevator cars in the pilot episode, Trapped in the Sky. Meanwhile, the most we see with 2015 is 2 pod vehicles and Thunderbird 4 in the episode Power Play. However, it's worth noting that with the pod vehicles in 2015, that they all use the same modifiable bodies. The pods, or modules as they're also called in 2015, house an on-board factory that can build various pod vehicles for different situations. In 1965, however, the vehicles used in different situations are all designed from the ground up. The Firefly and Mole in 1965 are completely different vehicles, but in 2015 they use the same core body for the vehicle. This makes the pods of 2015 more versatile than the wide array of vehicles shown in the original series. 1965's pods for Thunderbird 2 also didn't have any designated vehicles in them, apart from Pod 4 for Thunderbird 4. Meanwhile, going off of the Thunderbirds wiki, 2015's iteration does have designated pods, modules as they're called in 2015. Module 1 is used for firefighting missions. Module 2 is a more general use module with 2 pod bodies that can be modified using crates containing parts on board. Module 3 carries a set of electromagnetic grabs that can carry extremely heavy objects, or a set of seats for picking people up and into Thunderbird 2. Module 4 carries Thunderbird 4 alongside electromagnetic grabs and a row of seats, and can carry 2 extra pods if needed. Module 5 carries the seats and grabs alongside a storage tank and fuel line for refueling or pumping fuel out of vehicles. It can also carry other substances, such as the concrete sealant used in Power Play. Module 6 is used in rare occasions, such as Thunderbird 2 travelling to space. Overall, Thunderbird 2 is one of the more iconic vehicles of the Thunderbirds fleet, and don't be surprised if I make another video in the future relating to Thunderbird 2. Those who have seen my recent videos with Shark Tours might have an idea of what I mean by that. Thunderbird 1 is the first response vehicle of international rescue, designed to get to the danger zone fast and assess the situation before Thunderbird 2 arrives with the required equipment. Both iterations of Thunderbird 1 don't differ too much in appearance at first glance, but differences between 1965 and 2015 can be quickly spotted. Similarities between both vehicles are primarily their stats, general design and colour scheme. Both machines can reach 15,000 miles an hour, or 24,140 kilometers an hour, and have a max altitude of 150,000 feet, or 45.7 kilometers. Both Thunderbird 1s also feature a grey body, blue aft section, and red nose cone. Both launch from underneath of the pool on Tracy Island before changing to vertical flight, have a swing wing design, and are capable of vertical takeoff and landing. While superficially the same, both ships feature a lot of differences. 1965's Thunderbird 1 appears to have slightly larger wings proportionally speaking, and 2015's aft section is shown being able to rotate. 1965 also only has one VTOL thruster, while 2015 has 4 spaced out from each other to make way for the cargo area's doors. The section where Scott looks out of the vehicle differs in both ships. In 1965, it is shown being a sliding metal door on either side of the craft, while 2015 has a glass viewing area on the bottom that doubles as the way Scott gets into the cockpit. Thunderbird 1 in classic Thunderbirds is shown with what is known as the automatic camera detector. The original International Rescue was a far more secretive organisation with their operations compared to 2015. As a result, Thunderbird 1 is equipped with a device that allows the craft to detect anyone trying to photograph international rescue operations. 2015 is also shown being able to carry a vehicle referred to as the Skypod, alongside 2 drones, while 1965, as far as I know, is shown only carrying a single camera drone. Classic Thunderbird 1 is also shown carrying Scott's mission control equipment and having a hoverbike on board. Thunderbird 1 in 2015 lacks these features. Both ships are shown having a gun for demolition purposes, with classic TB1 having it concealed at the front, while 2015's has it always visible, but I don't recall it being used in any episode of the Reboot series. Both ships also have a wide array of sensors, which would be too lengthy for me to list off if I did. For further more in-depth detail, I recommend reading the guidebooks or the Thunderbirds wiki articles listed below.
Thunderbirds are go.
I tend to see or hear people say that the original series is better, but I personally love the 2015 reboot. Focusing on just the Thunderbirds vehicles, I personally think there's pros and cons to the 2015 series, which can be saved for a future video. But to summarize, I feel like having CGI mixed with practical effects helped and hindered the 2015 series' machines. The CGI helped in allowing them to do much more with the vehicles, but at the same time, they feel weightless and less impactful. The original Thunderbirds felt like they had a good bit of mass to them, but in 2015 they feel less weighty and comically agile for multi-ton vehicles. I personally don't think it hinders it too much, since there's still some awesome scenes in 2015 that are memorable for me, but some of you might find it lacking. Regardless, I hope everyone enjoyed this video for the 60th anniversary of Thunderbirds, and make sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time I upload, hopefully with something a bit more paleontological in nature.